welcome back to another edition of Rage Trade Mondays. Unfortunately, Verns is not with us this evening. He's got things to do, people to see, and money to make. But I'm joined by a very, very good-looking individual. Manny Liddy, how are we?
I'm good. Keen to trade myself in this week, I reckon. Not in okay,
Wonderful.
absolute bargain.
Agreed. We're going to get straight into it, mate. We've only got an hour this evening, so let's try and stay on track. But I just wanted to address something. It's very serious, very close to my heart. And I don't know how I feel besides pure joy in this. And Joshy, I think you might feel the exact same way. I don't want to speak on behalf of you because it is a serious matter and it does affect a lot of people, some less fortunate than us. I don't really know how to go about it, but I just want to express how I'm feeling towards Carlton's 2025 season being done. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I feel this emotion of euphoria that nothing can compare to. And seeing them lose to North was it was bliss. It was beautiful. I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on such an amazing event.
Oh, well, we're a disaster this season, but all of my mates are Carlton. Like, a good chunk of my mates are Carlton. And they're already my least favourite team, and my mates make me hate them even more. So seeing them lose on the weekend against North Melbourne, seeing the fans leave before half time, some of them at the train station. I don't know if that was completely legit or not, but when I saw that photo, I had a bit of a cackle. But some very good radio this morning on SEN. I'll put it that way.
I have purposely not listened to any of the talkback stuff, anything like that, like Dwayne's World, anything talkback radio, purely because I want to just, a spare half an hour to myself to just sit down and be solely focused so I can listen to the melts. Like it's glorious. Is it Snapper from Port Phillip Bay? Oh my god.
Yeah, he's one of them, very passionate Carlton supporter, and he wants Voss gone.
Well, I'm yet to hear that, but I assume a large portion of the fan base would want that. And honestly, between you and I cannot wait to listen to it. But enough of, basking in what has turned out to be a fantastic season so far for the Carlton FC. How did you go this week in SuperCoach, mate?
It didn't go too well, to be honest. Ended up scoring that 2,096. Dropped 121 spots in the ranks to 1802. So still pretty good spot. 1,802, 9 rounds left. A top 1,000 finish is still very much on the cards. But that 2096 could have been a 2196. I went Sherry, captain, the 79. I was fuming. I didn't want to look at SuperCoach for a whole day. I didn't look for the rest of the Saturday after that game. Somehow managed to get 3 out of 4 Cash League wins though, which I'll take. But man, if I had captain Bont instead of that Sherry 79, we're looking at close to 2,200 instead of 2696. So, I mean, it is what it is. But to be honest, I was expecting a bit more of a drop than just 121 spots. But yeah, I'm pretty happy, to be honest.
So where are you ranked currently?
1,802.
Ooh, very nice. Do you reckon you're going to make it into the top 1K?
I think I will.
You aim to, but realistically.
Yeah, I think I will. Like, I think I'm a primo behind everyone. Everyone's got the 23 primos, some have 24. But I was saying to you last night, I think the strength of my primos are a lot stronger than others. Like, I've got 22 pretty solid primos, besides maybe your Rankin, who has Richmond this week, so he could bounce back. And maybe your Chera, but I mean, Chera's been pretty good. He's been pretty reliable. So yeah, hopefully DeConning also gets back his number 1 rock spot this week. I think North Melbourne beating them, he should. But yeah, I'm a primo behind everyone else. Some teams 2 primos behind, but I think this strength of my primos, and McCarthy, I think being a pretty decent 23rd backup player if one of the primos fail, I reckon I can sneak into that top 1,000. But at the same time, it could go the other way.
Yeah, no, I get you there. We had a discussion. Well, firstly, I scored a 2,131, which was largely saved by Bont and Dacos, really. That's genuinely, that's it. Like, honestly, pretty poor team, if I'm honest. Only went up 353 spots into 3.2K. But you're right. Like, I've got more fieldable players than you, but when we compared them, your premiums are absolutely much better.
Yeah, like a lot of people are counting their primos as like your Shy Boltons, your Colin McKerches, your Chad Warners. Like some of these guys are primos at the end of the day, but really, like they're pretty prone to a sub 80 score, all of them. I mean,
Yeah,
I think all three of them have the ones that I mentioned have had a sub 80 in the last 3 or 4 games at least.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, and that another thing is like Matt Roberts. I'm trading him out this week. I wasn't
yeah,
100% sure at the start because I've got 5 trades. I was a bit scarred from last year because last year, I remember I ran out of trades with, I think it was 2 or 3 rounds left, and
yeah,
I don't know if many people remember, but last year we got smashed. We lost, like, Houston to the suspension. Rankin got KO'd by Houston. We
yeah.
lost English. We lost Kerno. We lost Sheasel for the last
Mm-hmm.
3 games. It was a disaster to finish at the end of the season, and I think I ended up, like all my cash leagues, I was in the 8-4, and I ended up going out in straight sets in all of them because I was playing with 3 donuts. Uh,
Yeah,
so, so I was a bit scarred from that last season, but I think I've conceded I'm not going to get that 23rd primo. I think instead of getting a Mills in, I would much prefer field, say, Matt Roberts to Jordan Dawson and
mm-hmm.
field him with McCarthy than I would Mills and a Matt Roberts. I think it's
Yep,
just a better combo in the long run. I think McCarthy can be trusted at 23rd. So yeah, going from 5 trades to 3 trades this round's going to be holding on to those 3 trades like my life absolutely depends on that. I said that about my 5 trades, but I just don't think long term you can keep rolling with Roberts. That roll, although he scored a 95, it did not look good at all. It was a lot of wing time. Three
mm-hmm.
quarter time was lucky to be on 71. He had 12 disposals. He ended up finishing on 19, so had a good last quarter. But geez, that 95 was a bit kissed, I reckon. And yeah, I think he needs to go.
Well, funny you mentioned that because I obviously checked the stats at halftime because I took McKercher's score over Roberts, so just checking to see if that's going to, hit me in the face. And he had 12 positives at halftime for 50. So he's
Yeah,
had
right.
another
Yeah,
7 for 41. And I know
yeah,
watching it, he got a few free kicks. And then, yeah, like as I spoke to you today, I can afford Roberts to McRae in one trade with some DPP. And then that's
yeah.
looping McKercher and McCarthy at D6. And I'm
Yeah,
more than happy to do that. More than happy to do that. Like I banged on for probably a good 3 minutes, which wasn't needed last week, about the Richmond rookie, Mr. Gray, with the DPP, and just how good it is to loop. And obviously, you got your buy rounds and whatnot, but it just works. It works really well. And I I know you know that I'm huge on points per minute, and McRae went at 1.5 against Collingwood.
yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
personally, I don't think that's sustainable, but you've got to also take into consideration this bloke is just getting back into gear. Like that, their midfield was relatively, I guess, weak, so to speak. Jack Steele played one of the worst games I've ever seen in his entire career, and so a lot was left onto McRae's shoulders. I don't think that that's sustainable, but I do think the time on ground is going to increase. And so instead of him, arguably averaging 120 plus for the run home, which would be fantastic, I think even if he goes at a 105 with some spike scores, that's going to be much higher than Matty Roberts, to be fair. Is that a fair assumption, or do you reckon I've just got that completely wrong?
No, I think it's awesome. Like as I said, Matt Roberts' role is cooked now. He's on the wing. Mills obviously back down there has destroyed his role a lot. And yeah, if you look at the heat maps of the 3 weeks previous to the game on the weekend, I think on the weekend he had 3 possessions in D50, and that was it. So the
Mm.
rest of his whatever it was, 16 disposals were around the ground. A lot of ball on the wing. Um, So yeah, it's a bit cooked. I think you're bang on about McRae. I held him over JHF 3 weeks
Yep.
ago, and it didn't look good last week. But McRae's kind of even the ledger this week. I think over the 2 weeks, I think they're pretty much identical on points now because they both had a 130, both had a score in the 80s. But yeah, he's run home. McRae is pretty good. Like he's got, I think in there, there's North, there's Richmond, there's Essendon, there's Melbourne, there's Sydney. This round, he's got Fremantle, who as recently as round 8, he's got 160 against. So,
Yep.
yeah, two first game backs from a punctured lung to score 87 and 130. He's just reminded us of the big start he had to the season and the ceiling scores he's had this year as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Completely agree. Initially, it was going to be Lockie Neal out because I'm so done with him. Honestly, like he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a premium. Which is insane to say because you think like Jill Brownlow medalist, like this bloke is a freak, started at like what 600 plus thousand, but it's just I don't know why any attention he folds, he goes to water, but they're winning. No one literally goes within a 10-kilometer radius of Hugh McCluggage for the entire season.
And he's so much more damaging. Like, I don't understand that at all. Yeah.
No, I don't get it at all. But, like, if I'm 100%, I think it was a mistake in my eyes that I held Lockie Neal. I know he did get that low ton. I think it was against GWS when we were expecting that Bedford tag, but that was a mistake in my eyes, and I got off a week later, which, I mean, it just, I've got to keep him. So it's terrible to say that I don't think Lockie Neal is a premium, but I've got to hold him because I think that Lockie Neal has more chance to bounce back than what a Matt Roberts does to actually score well. Like, if you had to choose one, who are you trading? It's got to be Roberts, yes?
Oh, it's got to be Roberts. And the fact is, like, yes, Neal's going to be copying all these tags, but he still has his role. Like, he's still getting 80% plus CBAs every single week without fail. Even when he's getting tagged out of the game, Brisbane's still just rolling through there anyway. And, like, the tag run, it's pretty ugly. Like, this week he could cop Bergman, then he's got Chincotta. Dogs should be fine, but he scored a pretty poor score against Dogs earlier in the season, I think, or maybe I'm getting that mixed up. But then he's got Gold Coast, that'll be fine. Collingwood should be fine. But then he finishes the year with Jordan, Wagner, and potentially even McGuinness. I know Hawthorn haven't really tagged this year, but it's an ugly, ugly tag run for Neal. But
it is, yeah.
Purely for the role, I think you got to hold him over Matt Roberts because we know how poor a wing role is. I think the only good winger in Supercoach is Errol Gordon, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I guess, Nick, can you actually call Nick Martin a winger, like at the start of the season?
Oh, no, he plays everywhere. And he's more half back now. He's literally everywhere. I think he's just got the license to not play a position, just run where the ball is, to be honest.
Do whatever. Yep. Nah, well, yeah. I completely agree with that. But, mate, we're going to get straight into it now. Number 5 on the most traded out in the top 5% is Luke Pedlar. I don't know if I agree with this. If he's picked, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I traded him last week, but if he's picked this week, he's got Richmond. So,
exactly.
I mean, he showed that he can score in his first couple of games against weaker opponents. I think it was like a 60 and a 70 he started the season with. But the concern with Pedlar is the 2 games prior to the bye, he got subbed out both of them. So usually the writing on the wall is that you're probably going to be dropped the next week or maybe starting sub the next week. But I mean, if he was able to stay in that team and not be sub, then I don't agree with this trade out. But then again, a lot of teams don't really have that much players with money to their name to trade out at the moment. So a lot of teams are just forced to get rid of a Pedlar to be able to make their final upgrades.
I guess if you don't have McCarthy, you go Pedlar to McCarthy. That's 100K profit. I mean, I can understand that, but if he's picked and he's not sub, then I'd be holding. Are we in agreement that Hustwaite, you're either trading him out now or you're never trading him? Because I don't think he plays again.
Yeah. Oh, he will not play again. Not after that performance he put in when he got his chance again, like getting subbed out half time on what 4 was it? He was so
Mm,
like he didn't do anything. He looks
no.
pretty poor. Didn't get much opportunity, but even these opportunities, it wasn't great. And yeah, I think with like Finn McGuinness and Mackenzie both playing really well in the VFL, I think they're going to get back ahead of him in the order. And then, like, I don't even think Will Day is that far off. Like, they're starting
Yeah,
to get their players back in there. So, and Warple missed as well. So, I don't think Hustwaite's going to be in that team anytime soon.
I read that Werple has a fitness test this week, and if he passes it, I reckon that's Hustway. Like it just shallow
Oh,
run. Bye
yeah,
bye.
100%. Definitely.
Third one, you've heard my opinion on Lockie Neal. What's the go in your eyes with him?
Yeah, if you can afford these luxury trades, like you don't have a Matt Roberts. If you do have Matt Roberts, like I said,
Oh,
I'd be trading him before Lockie Neal. But if you have the luxury to be able to trade Lockie Neal, I'd absolutely do it. Like, what's his price at the moment? 521. So like, you can definitely still get him to like a decent player around that price, even if you, I mean, spent 29K and got a Wanganeen Malira and swung one of your defender mids into the midfield. Like, there's a bit of like guys that you can shift to from that price that aren't going to be copy tags, going to be scoring a lot better. But yeah, you need to prioritize getting out your Matt Roberts and Shy Boltons and guys like that before Neil.
yep. I literally have nothing more to add. The next two on the most traded out at number 2 is Zach Johnson, and number 1 is Angus Clark. They both play for your beloved Bombers. So, what's your
Yes.
thoughts on ditching them?
I'm trading one of them this week. And I think I'm leaning to Johnson. So like Clark had, I think 86% TOG against Fremantle compared
Mm-hmm.
to Johnson. He dropped back to 68%.
Yep.
After the bye, we're getting back Ridley, we're getting back Redmond, we're getting back Zach Reed. So 3 defenders to come in.
2 that are
Um,
injury prone.
yeah, to their injury prone, but it's still 3 defenders to come in where Clark has been playing defense the last couple of weeks, but in his first couple of games, he played on the wing. So I think Clark just
Mhm.
slots back to that wing. A Luau comes out. And Zach Johnson, I think, could make way after a 9 disposal performance and 3
Yeah.
defenders coming back in, especially with Redmond being pretty like for Johnson.
Yep.
I think that's going to yeah, I think that's gonna be his downfall, which is disappointing. Like he had 28 disposals a week before. He looked really good. But yeah, I'm torn between trading the two, but I do think this trade out numbers should be flipped, and I think people should be holding Clark over Johnson unless they need to get rid of a defender. Just because I think Clark's going to be more safe on that wing where Johnson could lose his spot. But then again, who knows what Brad's going to do?
Oh, no one does, mate. No one. No one.
Yeah,
That's it for the defenders, mate. But we're going to hit all coaches. And the reason why we're doing 5% is literally because there's been barely any trades in the top 1%. Sammy Butler. I genuinely have no issues with that at number 5. Like he's looked fantastic.
Yeah, I went early on him last week.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
pretty well set up last week, so I brought him in early alongside Darcy and Bont, and traded out Carroll, Pedlar, go on. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be, and Touchwood, I think he's going to be a solid F7. And the reason for that, I think he's been getting like 20 to 30% CBAs and then playing small forward. And we just spoke about Hustwaite. His downfall was that all he could do was play inside the
Yep.
midfield, where Butler is actually a handy forward as well. And he provides tackle pressure as well. I think the last game he played up in Tassie against Adelaide, he had 7 or so tackles and he had his 17 touches, may
Mm-hmm.
have kicked a goal as well. So he's definitely doing his job. The VFL form warranted the selection, and I mean, he'd be bloody stiff to be dropped after last week. So I think go
Oh,
ahead with that
absolutely.
trade. Yeah.
100%. No, you've summarised that fantastically. You don't have Mills, do you, sitting at number 4 on the most traded in the top 5% of coaches?
I don't. And at the moment, my Matt Roberts out trade, that cost me 2 trades to be able to get up to the guys I'm looking at in your Andersons, your Dawsons, your Butters. But
Mm-hmm.
I have flirted with just going Roberts down the Mills and banking a bit of cash only using one trade. But I just think that at the end of the day, I'm too scared of how injury prone Mills is. Like, I mean, the amount of footy he's played the last few years, it's not cutting it for me when you're going to be down to 4 trades with 9 rounds of footy left. I think the less risk you can take with bringing in players, the better. So I think I might just bite the bullet, do the 2 trades, get an uber primo in like your Jordan Dawsons or your Noah Andersons, and miss the Mills train. But anyone that did game like yourself, especially the ones that go him as that 23rd premium, it's been a very good trade in.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm more than happy with what Mills has been doing, and I think we've covered it enough now. He's basically kicked Roberts to the wing, yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, next bloke, I genuinely, again, no issues with trading him in. Like, I have no issues with any of these players, but Sammy Darcy, you got him in. What did
I
he
did.
score?
Scored 144.
Can you say
So
that again? Sorry.
3 points off the break even. 144, 3 points off the break even. I said
So,
in what?
so
What are
he
you
he
going to
didn't
say
get his
now?
break even.
I said on both pods, I think he'll get the break even, and if not, very close. And 3 points, I'm counting that. Like he was unreal, career high score,
I
144
just
points.
I just want to read you, well, what I can read. A message that I got sent from my dear friend JG at 5:44 Sunday evening. 144 for Darcy. 3 points off the beep. Break even. I beep told you on beep both pods during the week he'd beep. Get it? You beep 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 at my Twitter handle. Now, for those of you playing along at home, I'm sure you can fill the blank spots in. But the last time I
Deserved.
checked, 144 is not 147, is it?
3 points. Give me a
Nah,
smile.
there's no,
So,
no.
3 points. He scored 144.
That's
He's got
great. That's
North in
fantastic.
his run home, Sydney,
No,
Essendon,
no,
Melbourne,
no.
West Coast, Freo. He's going to go
I'm
new. Get him in.
I'm not debating the trade in at all. I think he's a fantastic option. I just want you to admit that he didn't get his break even, therefore I was right.
3 points. Like,
I'm
yeah,
taking it. No.
you're
Thank
right. But what? I mean, I'm
Oh,
taking him 144 any day of the week. Well,
absolutely,
you were saying
100%.
don't get him because you're going to lose bulk cash. He lost 1.6k. Like,
I said he
what a
had the
big deal.
chance to. Chance. If he scored 100 flat, he lost 20k. Which, honestly, looking like he was he on 100 at halftime?
I think so. And to be fair, he actually did hit the break even. It got scaled down. There was a point he was on 147. I
Yeah,
remember it
right. I didn't
happening.
see that.
He was
Did
on
not see that.
147, and then that's when I tagged you that he got the break even, but then he got scaled down 3 points. So, but I
No,
mean, 144, it's a bloody
oh,
great score, and
fantastic.
he's a
And
cheat code.
if he had a kick straight, my goodness. My goodness. So I think it's a resounding, I guess, no issue with bringing in Sammy Darcy.
Yeah, just his goals, his contested marks. He's so clean below the knees for 208 centimeter bloke, and
Oh, his
even
skills
like
are
his
immense.
yeah, and even his second ruck roll, like he had 4 hitouts, and 3 of them were to advantage. That's 12
Mhm.
points right there from 4
Yep.
hitouts. So like it's just like even the little things like that. A contested mark, especially if it leads to a goal, that's usually 12 to 15 points.
Mhm.
So a lot of the stuff he does are high gaining things. So yeah, I'm really happy with that pick. And looking at his run, a lot of Marvel games under the roof, good
Yep.
conditions. And yeah, he's like even he's got so many bottom 7 teams, and then even the teams that are in the 8 in your Freos, he scored 141 against this season. Even your Brisbane's scoring 87 against this season. Like that's not amazing, but still like it looks like his floor's gonna be okay, and I think his average in non-injury games is up to something ridiculous, like 111 or something now.
Oh, yeah, insane,
Yeah,
insane. Because
yeah,
when like obviously he's out there, he goes large.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
he's amazing to watch. Amazing to watch. Um, yeah. So like as we said before, I don't think there's any issues with bringing either of well, all five of these in, depending on what your team structure is. Is it just as simple to say that if you don't have Tom McCarthy, you just get him in? Like it's just yes,
Yeah, yeah. There's no point spending any time on this one.
perfect. The number one traded in player, ranked in the top 5% of coaches, is actually yourself. Tell me, why
Mm.
should coaches bring you in?
I mean, if you've already got your McCarthy, and you need a midfielder, then I think he's the best option. I'm actually surprised Bo Allen's not. Is Bo Allen in the top 10?
Hang on,
If you
are
scroll down a
you?
bit,
Did we not speak about this last week's pod? And you
what do you
absolutely
mean?
laughed at because I suggested Bo Allen.
Oh no, I'm not into him at all. But I'm just saying, I'm surprised Bo Allen's not on there. Like, is he in the top 10 if you scroll down?
Oh,
Um,
Bont, May, McRae, Horn Francis,
oh, he's
10.
10.
10.
Yeah.
That's what you get
So
around here. Absolute premium content.
so yeah, if you think like if you need a midfielder, I think Liddy's the best option
Mhm.
by far. 99k. I really like the mature aged recruits,
Yep.
especially these mid-season draftees. Like he's 23 years old, been in the sand for all season, comes straight in, and I think he had 17 touches on the weekend. His efficiency wasn't great, 50% or something, so it hampered his score a little bit. But I think he's going to hold his spot. I think he will. We've been pretty stuffed around by Port with rookies this year. Like you think
Yep.
about Cochrane, Lorenz, Marias, and there was that Jackson guy as well.
Jackson.
Like there's been so many Port rookies that are getting 2 or 3 games and then just onto the scrap heap or made sub, which is really affecting the scores.
Mhm.
But I think Liddy is going to be okay, and I think that's because he's a player that looks like he can play a bit of wing, play a bit of inside, he can play a bit of half back. Um, Touchwood, I think he's going to be okay. I don't know what your thoughts are on him. Bit low risk at 99k, but I think 23 years old, Australia sample, 2 games already. I think he's going to be all right.
No, I agree. I agree. My only concern is one of our dear friends in one of our chats, the Port Adelaide correspondent, he said that he was coming off the ground at the end of the game with what looked like a sore shoulder. I don't know
Mm.
how or like what's going on there, but yeah, that'd be something to keep an eye on. I assume everyone has basically got McCarthy. He's the number one trade in this week. Like, there's no doubt about that. But if you
Mm.
need basement, then obviously Liddy is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and if you can get a forward in, like if you're pretty well set, there's nothing wrong with going early on Archimay. I can see 7th here.
Yep.
Um, to be honest, going into the round, one of our good mates was asking, "Is it safe to go May?" I said no, just because like Peter Wright's actually been really good the last 8 or so weeks. He's no chance to get dropped. Plays the second ruck role as well. Caddy's never going to get dropped. And then Langford is coming back after the bye, so I didn't think May was going to be able to hold his spot, but I just don't think he can drop
He
him
was
now after
good.
2 goals. And yeah, some nice contested marks. Got a big leg on him too. So
Mm-hmm.
be interesting to see what we do. Do we play 4 key forwards? Be interesting to see if we do that. I mean, it's kind of worked for Adelaide at stages of the season, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
they're
don't think
good.
there's anything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong to go early on Archer May now. If you need a forward to get in.
If money's no issue, you get Butler though. Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, wonderful, wonderful, mate. That's well, good rundown and more actually. So we get to some
And
comments now.
someone in the comments just while we're on Liddy said that he had
Yep.
CBAs in the first half. So yeah, he got a few
Handy.
CBAs. Can play on the wing, can play half back. I think he plays enough positions to be able to keep his spot, and it always helps when they're 23, 24, that mature age type.
Agreed. No, absolutely not. You're bang on. Don't think there's any issue with that at all. Let's get to some questions now, mate. Gerbs, shout out to you, mate. He says, "G'day, lads. I hope you're all well. I am. I'm very well. It's been a fantastic weekend. What about yourself, Joshy? Did you have a decent weekend?"
Oh, besides captaining Sherry, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Placey, shout out to you, mate. We both hope you're well also. I'm fairly sure Placey VC Jackson as well. Fairly sure.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he did. So for a huge score. Primordial Quasar, g'day, my glorious kings. Oh, we're always here, mate. Always here. We love your work. Thank you for dropping by. Hawksy, Scooge and Shaggy are back. How are we? Oh, just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Theo or Teo Manis says I'm full premium. Yes, so am I, mate, but like they're crap.
But
They are, like,
while we're on this, a bit of a debate in our chat this morning, one of our close chats, of what is defined full primo. I think 22 primos is full primo. Because at the end of the day, flex means that you get your 22 scores. So I think if you have 22 primos, you can class that as full primo. I know a lot of people do have that 23, 24. But I don't know. I was on the debating side of 22 primos and then like a McCarthy is your 23rd is full primo with a decent backup. But I don't know about you.
I'm not sure. I genuinely don't know because the way I see it is like you get the scores from on field. You want the best players on field. But then with the addition of flex, only 22 count.
Yeah, so
So
22 full
So
primo.
realistically, there's a little bit of grey area there because you could have 22 absolute superstars and a complete and utter butcher. Actually, we can't say that word.
Yeah.
No, we'll edit that out later. We will. Too bad we're live. Shout out to everyone that loves butchering. Anyway, we won't get involved in that because our legal team will need to be involved in that. And for once, it wasn't us that did anything wrong. How good's
I
that?
know.
We're out of the
I
hot
know.
water. Fantastic. Anyway, fix your app. Anyway, we're going to move on. I believe that if you've got 22 superstars, like genuine superstars, and then you have like literally, I don't know, a player that is just absolutely terrible as your flex, I can understand that. Like, yes, you are
Yeah.
legit full premium because all your premium scores are going to count. I would much rather have 23 premiums because then I have a better chance at a better overall score. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I
Yeah.
understand that 22 players is full premium because you're only getting 22 scores. But I do like that's where it's murky. So honestly, like as long as you can come out of the buys and have a fairly decent team, I think you're okay. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. Like as I said, I got the 22 primos and that 23rd flex that we're talking about is Tom McCarthy. And I think worst case scenario, one of your primos drop a bad score. I think McCarthy at worst is a 80. Like with that role, we saw what Marriage could do in that role compared to not in that role. Even Dewar, the stuff that he's been doing in the last couple of weeks in that similar role, I think McCarthy would be safe enough with 10 kick-ins the week before to be a solid 80 as that backup. So I think, as I said, 22 players count. I think 22 players is full premium, but you are right. It would be nice to have that 23rd as that little insurance, but yeah, I just can't get there. I'm more prioritizing upgrading a Roberts than getting a 23rd in.
I also think that McCarthy will score well this week because what I noticed, but like I know it's an official ground, but obviously Marvel is smaller than the MCG. Like that's just infrastructure. That's the architecture of it. But every play, when we kicked a point, if it was Sinclair or Wanganeen Malira, we would always give them the pocket kick. Give them the pocket kick, and then literally like just strangle them down the line. That was it. So I have no doubt that he'll score well this week. I don't think he's going to score to the extent that he did on debut, but
Oh no, yeah.
I think he's going to be okay, but I don't know if it's sustainable.
Yeah, and like as I said, he's not going to get those 133 levels, but I think as your 23rd, where most weeks you're pretty much hoping you just get your 22 primo scores every single week. But I feel like if one of them do drop that dodgy score, like your Rankin, or as I said before, a lot of people have your McKirches, your Mills, your Boltons that could be prone to a little lower score. I
Mhm.
think McCarthy, honestly, in that role is a safe 80. I really do think that you're going to be getting around that every single week in that role.
So why didn't you get marriage? No, just I love to bring that up. We're moving on. We're moving on. End of conversation. Jono, the boys. Hope you're well, legends. Always, mate. Always. Tell you what, we're fantastic. Fantastic. Jerbs wants to know. He's got 7 trades left on and 10k in the bank, needing a primo F6. Don't like the idea of being a peanut and dumping a Roberts or Zorko to bring in Sam Darcy. So it'll be Butler and Liddy in for me. I mean, I see no issue with that this week.
Yeah, I don't think Zorko to Darcy is that much of an upgrade. Like Zorko could not have been
Jesus,
worse on the
my
weekend.
God. You know what annoyed me? There was
What?
this bloke on my feed that would not shut up about Dane Zorko. No, you'd think that he'd scored like 19 or something. Then I checked full time, 100 plus. I thought, oh my God, this bloke's an
To
absolute.
be fair, when I tweeted that, he was on 2 at quarter time.
Oh, it was you, was it? Ah, right. So it wasn't a massive overreaction at all.
Oh man, he left a 160 out there instead scored 105 because he gave away a couple of 50 meters like he does
Oh, it was
every
always
single
going to
week.
happen.
Every single week, 250 meters against. He misses uncontested kick-ins, but yeah, I don't think trading him to Darcy is the right move. Roberts to Darcy, I would do though.
Did you notice how Scott's released that thing on the Monday prior that like the umpires need to tighten up regarding where the protected area is. Coaches don't know what to do and players don't know what to do either.
No, I didn't, but
No,
Zorko's cooked.
Geelong coach, what happens? Zorko gets done for it. Now I'm not, conspiracy theorist, but I reckon there's a little bit of an overreaction there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and your favorite player ever had to do it. So Zorko was Reading your tweets, I thought like he literally shot someone. He was fine.
He, he was on 2 at quarter time. I think it was 30 at half time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just lucky at an all time a 70-point second half. So we'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah. Placey says 2-2-3-5 for me this week. Hopefully, can get through this week unscathed, being the toughest fight. Yep. Yep. 23 or 24 primos already. Buzz, come on, Joshy. I only have 22, so I must be cooked. It's just the way you trade.
Well, you've got 23, don't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're crap.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like he's saying 23 or 24 already. There's plenty with 23. And I know our good friend Brad Supercoach Pro has 24 now. He just got his 24th this week.
All right. So Sinclair, yes. Dale, yes. McKercher, I would say no, but is a fieldable option. Mills, I would say is not a premium, but is a fieldable option. Gray is just the best loop going around. McCarthy's not a premium, but is a fieldable option. Zorko, yes. Stewart, yes. What are we up to now? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right now, no, if I'm being honest with you. But I mean, it's Zach Merritt, so 11. Rankin, probably not, honestly. Neil,
Mm.
probably not, honestly. DeConning, yes. Marshall, after this week, yes.
Well, decoding big asterisk if he gets his roll back.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
needs it because, well, clearly 76 is crap. Smith, yes, that's just one down score. Petraka, well, who knows what he's going to do. McRae, I'd say yes. Daniel, yes. Well, actually, no. I'd say Daniel probably, depending. Horn Francis, maybe.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's a top 8 forward for sure.
Warner on his day, long, fieldable.
Well, I think I'm I actually really like your terminology here of fieldable. I think that's a lot better than the 22, 23 primo statement because obviously Ned Long's fieldable. People have Shy Bolton, he's fieldable. People like you that have McKercher, he's fieldable. But are all three of them classed as primos? Obviously, Long, no. He's nowhere near a primo in the midfield.
No.
If you compare him to the premium numbers, McKercher has a different role to that what that season average says.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's still probably nowhere near that top 12 defenders when we think about all the options we have. So I really like your terminology, and that's the same with Chera. Like he's a bit out of that top 8 bracket for midfielders. So yeah, your terminology of fieldable over
So does
23, 22 primos is actually a really good statement.
so does that mean because Chera's averaging 104.2 and he's fieldable, Lockie Neal is not a premium, who is averaging less than Chera?
Yeah, or because at the end of the day, what do you class as premium? Some people go off the price, like
No,
a
nah,
500k
you don't
plus.
go. No,
Yeah,
because
some
no,
people do, but I go off, are they top 12 in their line? And that's what
yeah,
I class primo. Anything, maybe a bit more, maybe top 15 for midfielders. You're probably looking at top 5 for rucks. But down back and up forward, you're probably looking at the top 12 players. If they're not in that bracket, they're not a
mm-hmm.
primo. And that's why I think Matt Roberts is 21st at the moment. So, I mean, I could flick him straight to a Wanganeen Milera this week. And I think he's 4th or 5th on average for defenders. Or I could swing Sinclair back and get in your Butters, get in your Dawson, get in Anderson, get any of these guys. And I think that makes me have an extra primo at the end of the day because I don't know if I would class Matt Roberts as a primo, especially in his new role. But as you said, he's fieldable. I like that
Yeah,
fieldable
no,
terminology. I think that's a better way to say it.
Primo gets thrown around way too much, mate. Way too much.
Yeah, 100%.
Rogue Wright says, sticking with my strong 22 Primo team opposed to a weaker 23rd Primo team. So thinking of trading Chera or
This is what I
Dunkley to
like.
Richards, or if TDK isn't solo ruck, going him to Gorn. If TDK is solo ruck, I don't think you trade at all out of those options.
Yeah, I would either. Like, I like the idea of having, as we just mentioned, like the stronger 22 Primo team rather than the weaker 23rd Primo team.
Mm-hmm.
But surely you've got a bit weaker Primos than Chera. I think Chera's been pretty good. And that 104 average, if you actually look at his last 5, I think it's like a lot stronger than 104. Like
Yeah.
I think out of his last 5, he's had 4 tons in a 95. So I think he's pretty solid, and definitely won't be trading with a Dunkley. I'm a Dunkley owner, and it's 120 or 76. That's what it seems to be like. He's pretty
Yeah.
inconsistent. So yeah, I do like the idea of the stronger primo team, but Chera can't be the one you trade out, surely.
I don't think so. And if you're, who was that clown that literally took his head off? Durham. That Muppet didn't literally, oh,
Yeah, it would have
oh,
been even bigger against
yeah,
Essendon. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, it would have been. Primordial Quasar says I went on absolutely par for my ranking, went up 1 spot. Oh, there you go. Hawksy says, thank God I faded Warner. Hate watching that balding mug play. I just hate that he gives away like 3 free kicks in the first quarter and then that's it. That's, yeah, so hard to turn around when you give away early frees. G-Bags, hey fellas, thoughts on whether I should trade Levi Ashcroft to Kennedy or McRae? Other options under 500k would be great, as I'd go to McRae in a heartbeat.
I like McRae, but Kennedy has been really good under the radar pick, but McRae's better.
Yep, agreed. Placey says, I know you're Ned Long's #1 fans coach, so I think it's time to move him on. He's not doing anything wrong, but have the chance to move him up to a Nick Dacos/Heaney type who have huge ceilings. You trade Ned Long to Nick Dacos this week and make him your VC. Simple as that. There you go, Placey. If there's one thing you listen to from tonight, make sure it's that, mate. Because I would like 0.1% chance that hits me in the face. Oh, now that I've said it, it will. Yep. But no, I would 100% do that. Aqua says, good evening, lads. Verns channeling his inner Sean Darcy out another week. What do we think of Neil, lads? Verns is just literally, he'll be back next week. Simple as that. What do we think of Lockie Neal? Oh, how long you got, mate? Joshy, how long? What's your thoughts on Lockie Neal?
Well, considering I sideways traded him 2 weeks ago to George Hewitt, I think that should tell you enough, especially when I've been banging on about how important trades are. I wanted to get rid of him that bad that I just did it. He's just so tag prone. Like I reckon he's probably the worst player in the league at copying a tag, like
Pansy.
fighting through a tag. I think by far. I don't think there's
Absolute
many
pansy.
closer.
Goes to water as soon as someone gives him attention. And it's never going to change because Brisbane are winning. It's
Yeah.
Hawksy wouldn't even know what a Verns is anymore ever since his Jack Steele pick. We've been through this. That was a good shout at the time.
It was, yeah. It actually was.
Aqua, current trade plans are Bolton and Clark to Boynton Mills. Plan to trade Erasmus, but may have accidentally bought one too many depth/forward only rookies. Have 26k of leeway for Roberts to Witt next week. No, I'd wait on Whitfield. But I do like the first trade-ins.
Yeah, if Whitfield does get up against that West Coast game, I asked David Zeta today if what the actual ruling is on that 12-day protocol, because there's a bit of grey area. Does it start the day of the game? Does it start the next day? The day of the game, so yesterday, is classed as day 0, and today's the first day, but they're allowed to play on the 12th day, which is that game day. So if he ticks every box, he's legally allowed to play, which I think there was a lot of grey area on what the actual ruling was. But yeah, if he ticks all the boxes and plays against West Coast, it will be tempting to get him in because he scored massive against West Coast this year. But with that break even, yeah, I think you definitely have to wait a little bit on Whitfield. You could get him sub 500k, which would be unbelievable.
Amazing. Curtin, Johnson, Whitfield for Bont, Fraser, mate. No, don't trade Whitfield. No, don't like that. Aqua, Swans look so much better with Goulden and Papley. On the contrary, they look a lot worse with Marty. Went to the game and spent so much time laughing at his inaccuracy. I forgot we were down by 60 points. I reckon they're a sneaky chance to make finals, I reckon.
I don't know. I think there's too many. I think there's 10 teams better than them at the moment. I think they've left their run a little bit too late, where they'd have to be near on flawless to make the finals from here.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I agree with this comment. Like Goulden and Papley shaped them up so much better. And I know they didn't really beat anyone, but I mean, Amadi kicks straight. He kicks, bag of 6, and you're laughing. Game's over at 3/4 time. Kirsten Gonsalves says, is Libera a cause of concern? CBA's dropped massively after the buys. Yes, because Bevo's got it in his head that he wants to play him off half back, and I haven't fantastic to prolong his career, but yeah, I don't like it. I do that's luxury. That is the definition of luxury, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Geez, we're agreeing a lot tonight, mate. Don't know why the hell I bought Martin. Thought Rouston would be sub. Understandable. I mean, Martin's not injured yet, so you're still happy. That's in response to Kirsten. True Law. That's so sad. Did his calf again. I literally hate that. Genuinely hate that. This is in response to you, Joshy, regarding Will Day. Aqua reckons around 20 if he comes back. Hawksy, his primo Kako had his 56 spike game. Seeing a break even lower than 30 has me thinking that he's his 23rd premium. Love that. G'day, boys. This is from Kev. G'day, boys. If Carlton are going with 2 rucks, who are the best trade targets for TDK under 600k? You are in this range, so I'm going to let you answer this one, mate. Because I was looking at the lower end of the scale.
Well, we do need a little bit of clarification if TDK is in his flex or if he has 3 ruckmen, because if he's only got the 2 ruckmen, then it's obviously going to be a ruckman under 600k. If that was the case, I really like what DC is doing, Darcy Cameron. I think he's averaging like 114 or something now. He's coming off a big score as well. So if it's a ruckman, I'd go there. If it's anywhere else, I'm leaning towards John Dawson. I don't know if you have John Dawson. If you do, my other option would be Noah Anderson or Zach Butters or Caleb Sarong even. He's been getting going. But Dawson is really taking my interest. Like, if you have a look at his run home and even his last 7, he's averaging 120. So he's in form. and he's run home. I think he has, out of his 9 games, 5 of them at Adelaide Oval, and 5 of them are against bottom 7 teams. Like he's got Richmond in there, he's got North in there, he's got West Coast in there. Uh, and I think he even plays teams like Hawthorn, Gold Coast, and Collingwood, who are all really good teams. But he's played them already this season for, I think, a low score of 118. So his run home is bloody ridiculous. And yeah, I think he is the best option under 600k. But if you need a ruck, DC.
Wonderful, mate. Speaking of Fremos, Martin and Clark knocked out by Spud, Sinclair, and Bolton from best 18. Believe Neil was close too. Makes you wonder what the point is sometimes. Yeah, I feel you, Aqua. I feel you, mate. Jerv says, I'd give it to Joshy, to be honest. 144 for Darcy is close enough to the break even. I do recall him saying Darcy would get close. No, I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that he didn't say that he would get close. I'm debating that 144 is not 147.
You're
Because
so stubborn.
No, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, geez, they're siding a lot with you this week. Handshake on the Darcy break even there. Is there even on that one? Oh, yeah. Rightio. No, it's just Nick Dacos into a loop. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think Dacos, unless he gets injured, he's going 130 plus this week, I reckon, against West Coast. He just fought off a Windhager tag that kept Bond to 66. So, I mean, what's he going to do against West Coast under the lid?
We could have a whole podcast on Marcus Windhager, but contractually speaking, I am not permitted to say what I really think of said player who attempted and failed a tag. Aqua says, Liddy had CBAs in the first half, was very nice to see them giving him a go in the guts. On the other hand, it felt like JHF was a bit invisible playing forward. Exactly, 100%. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yep. I love this. This is fantastic. I tweeted this the other day. McMahon's the VFL leading goal scorer for both Bombers and Blues.
Yeah, he's so stiff that he's not getting a go. Like 23-year-old, the poor guy is on like a 6-month contract compared to, I think Archer May had that contract where you get the rest of this season plus next, where I think McMahon's only on the remainder of this season.
Yeah.
But as I said before, like in terms of going early on May, you probably can now after his good game. But Langford back this week, that means you'd have Langford, May, Caddy, and Wright all ahead of McMahon. Just feel so bad for him because he would feel like he's hard done by not getting a run because he could not have done much more to get a game at this point.
And it just, again, shows how pathetic Carlton are. I have 22 primos, 10 trades, and 80k in the bank, and McCarthy at flex. Option 1, upgrade Chera, Rosie, Rio to Butters and bring in a Rook. Option 2, Sims, Pedlar, and Johnson to Sam, Darcy, McCarthy bench. I'd go option 2.
Yeah, I'd go option 2 as well. I don't think any of Chera, Rosie, Rao should be traded out, even if you bring in Butters.
Dalek says, I don't think anything major this week is necessary. Thinking El Hawley and Gray to Butler and Allen. What are your thoughts? Tick it off. Because clearly you've got McCarthy.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep. Blue Ballers, Butcher, how dare you? I know, that's a terrible thing to say, isn't it? Strike me down and freeze hell over. Ghost Bakes, hey lads, who's the bigger priority to trade? TDK if not solo ruck. Whitfield if he misses 2 or more concussion history, or Bolton? Whitfield won't miss 2 or more. If TDK is solo ruck, then it's Bolton. Simple as that.
Yeah, Bolton for me. And even if Whitfield did miss the 2, if they didn't want to risk it against that West Coast game, me and you both can testify how shit he is as a non-own. You want him for the finish to the season, that's for sure.
Yep. Bernie says, hi lads, sadly I need to downgrade Gawn to get to a full team, leaning towards Darcy or Wits. Thoughts? Should have done it last week.
Yeah, last week was the play to do it while he was on his bye. I mean, his first 3 games off the bye are rather difficult. He's got Wits, then he's got Rob, and then he's got Sherry. 2 of them he played this year for 60 and a 80 something. But yeah, should have been done last week, I reckon.
DM us your team on Twitter, and one of us will sort you out, mate. Blue Ballers, problem is who even has 22 superstars, I have fake primos in some posies. Oh, mate,
I think
look
we
at
all
him.
do though.
Look
Yeah.
at him. Like, tell me who's not a fake premium there. Hawksy. Oh, God. This is a paragraph. I've got 21 primos plus McCarthy and Erasmus sitting F6. I'll get a 22nd, but I need to wait a few weeks to let some cash elsewhere build up through Clark and maybe Johnson. Not sure he stays in. I'll be nearly able to get Erasmus to anyone except Jackson, hopefully. He was going to do long Kako Erasmus to McCarthy, Darcy, JHF this week. Just be done, but I was 20k short, so my head was full of plaster Sunday night, and there's a hole in the wall now. I mean, fair. Ghost Bakes, is it worth trading Whitfield to Mills so I can get Bolton to Bont? I think Whitfield misses at least 2, even if he's out of pro. If you think that he's out of protocols and he misses the West Coast game, and you truly think that that's going to happen, then yes, I would do that.
I still wouldn't like. I think you really want Whitfield for the run home. Like,
I know, but if he's going to miss the West Coast game as well, that's 2 weeks. Like, I don't think he misses West Coast, but if you genuinely think that he does, then do it.
And to be honest, as we said, Zeta said that he legally can play against West Coast, but I don't know. West Coast are, I think, 18th on the ladder right now. I think they are last currently,
Yeah.
just below Richmond North. So 18th on the ladder. Do they on his last day of protocols, or technically his first day off protocols? Do they fly him to Perth, play him against the bottom place side with a concussion history too? Like, I'm pretty sure this is Whitfield's 4th, and I'm pretty sure he has had troubles with headaches before. So I don't think it's completely ruled out that he misses 2 weeks, to be honest. Just with his history and if they were playing Collingwood at the MCG, I think they'd fly him down there.
Yeah. He'd
I think
play
they'd
and
fly
have
him down
40
there.
and win. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I just don't know if they risk him against West Coast in Perth, like with his history. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Aqua says Jackson not worth it at his price. I agree. His role is quite weird with Darcy in the team. He would get the bulk of the ruck when fit. Jackson seems to be playing 50-50 mid forward, and Freo have a weird run home. I mean, the week was last week, honestly. SuperCoach is all about timing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hawksy, 2 people in my leagues are trading in Prestia. Are we cooked as a society? Mate, if you didn't realise we're cooked as a society already, then I've got no idea what to tell you, my friend. No clue. I love we can't say that word. Dawson, Rankin, Warner, Real, and of course, we're going to move on. Sorry, Aqua. We have, yeah. We love your work, mate. We love your work. If Mills is so injury prone, then I'll keep Roberts as Mills will be out anyway soon. Anyway, yes?
Yeah.
Really?
As I said before, with these low trades, that's why I'm not considering Mills, because I think there's a chance that he's going to get injured towards the end of the season, whereas I'm more inclined to spend 2 trades and upgrade Roberts to a Dawson rather than go down. But each to their own.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yep. Aqua says, speaking of low quarter one scores, Rowan Marshall might be the biggest roller coaster of a player I've ever owned. Yeah, I sent you a text first quarter of the Pies Saints game saying how good Rowan Marshall was and how fantastic it was to be an owner. And then at half time, something clicked, and yeah, it's fantastic, as Aqua alludes to here. And Pies won, so what could be better? Dalek says he's got 7 primos. Oops. Out this round might induce me to go skydiving with no parachute. Interesting. I wouldn't advise it, but you do you, mate.
How many do you have? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got a lot out too this week in terms of promos.
Premiums?
Yeah, you got 6 out.
No, mate. 1, 2, Zorko and Stewart. Green.
Neil, Merritt, and Smith.
Neil is not a premium. Your pansy captain is absolutely pathetic. He's not a premium. Zorko, Stewart, Green is 3. And Smith makes 4.
All right, I'll put it this way: you got 6 fieldable options out this week.
Yeah, I know. Daywicks is a huge loss for me, isn't he? Struggling. Does Jackson keep solo ruck? No. He should, but no. Joshy, we've literally got 5 seconds. We need to get through all these questions as soon as possible. We'll go on a little bit of a speed run here. Bont and Darcy's first quarter must have gotten them about 40 points each of scaling. Do you agree with that? Because Bont was going up even whilst he was on the bench.
Yeah. I don't understand the secret purpose fast or super scoring, but 100%.
Hawksy's pretty excited about his midfield at the moment, even with Holmes being an M1 on price right now. There's Anderson, Butters, Bont, Dawson, Sarong, Dacos, and Will Ashcroft. That's nice. Placey, I 100% agree with you, mate. 100% agree with you. Like Joshy and I have said this for weeks. Aqua says he can go Neil to Liver next week. I think just would have a lovely 2 injury trades though, but I'm ranked terribly. I feel like it can't get much worse. I would wait. Yeah, next week. I'd be tempted to do that. See how it goes with Liver. I really would. Worth moving Roberts down to Mills, has a better role and gives me the cash to upgrade Long. I've said that I would do that. Joshy would not do that. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to you, Regan Hislop. Is Keys worth a look? I'm tempted. I think you've missed the boat there, mate. That was a couple of weeks ago play. Balupa, honestly, if you've held Newcomb this week, 90 break even against North, no, just hold him. Honest, just hold him. Hold him. I don't want to talk about that individual. Bont going 170 really hurts my trade plans. I don't know if I can get him and Jason Horn-Francis now. Does Bont need to come in this week? I don't even know what his break even is.
Oh, it's back down to like 60 something, I think. What is it?
Nah, it's 102. If he goes large this week, then yeah, he cooked next week, I reckon. Yeah.
He probably cops Jordan this week, but Jordan's been pretty ineffective. I mean, he kept Rosie to 80, but I mean, Bond's coming off a massive. I know it was Richmond, but Bond's game, like to have 4 goal assist, 3 goals, 12 score involvements, 11 clearances. He was just vintage Bond and Pally. Yeah. Massive game.
Insane. 3 Brownlow votes right there. Duck Paste is laughing at Aqua. Darcy Parish is ruining everything. Martin and Zerrett are both getting sent out of that midfield with Siberia. Yeah, I mean, fair shout. Don't worry, Parish will be injured shortly. We can bank on that. Balupa. If Neil to Mills facilitates a rookie to Bont trade plus rookie to McCarthy plus Nuke to JHF trade, is it worth it? What? How many trades he got? Neil to Mills is one, a rookie to Bont, and then a rookie to McCarthy plus Nuke to J. I'd do that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Neil, 2 rookies, and Nuke to JHF, McCarthy, Bont, and Mills. Yeah, I'd do that.
Yep, absolutely. What's your thoughts on Took? Because Primordial Quasar thinks he's a viable option, and I agree too.
Oh, 100%. Like, I'm going to really quickly get his stats up here because I'm pretty sure he's only gone sub-ton twice on the season. Sorry, he's gone sub-ton 3 times, but that is 85, 90, and 99. He's averaging 109.7 across the season, and then obviously, he's played 13 games, had 10 tons with a low score of 85. So
fantastic.
He's more than fine, yeah. 525k too. Like, he's cheaper than Neil, the same price as Neil. Like, yeah.
And isn't a pansy. Is selling Erasmus for the extra 60k worth it if I have to field Clark as a D6 with 2 defender nuffs and a loot for 2 primos at F6? Wouldn't change my primo number, but it means I could get a better mid. I wouldn't do that. No. I don't like looting the 2 forward premiums, no. Balupa, yeah, I do what you said earlier, mate. This trade right here. Absolutely. DJ Gardner Holmes, thank you for tuning in, mate. Haven't seen you in a while. I think we can happily blame the tag on David King. Unk needs to pipe down on begging for the top liners tagged every week on first crack. Yeah, agreed. Ban tagging.
Yes.
Lifetime ban for Jordan Windhager, Bedford and Viney for being bums and ruining our season. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Joshy, we've gone over time, but I want to extend a large thank you to you, mate. Thank you so much for being on with me this evening. Verns will be back next week for another edition of Rage Trade Mondays. Where can the listeners find you, and will you be here with me for Team Drop Thursdays?
Absolutely, I will. It's my favourite part of the week.
Agreed.
I crack open a couple of beers. Sometimes we watch the game together after, but we haven't done it in a long time. But
I
yeah,
know. Who's on Thursday night?
I have not.
Oh,
What, you don't want to watch the downfall of Carlton with me?
Oh, that could be juicy.
And unfortunately, this week on Team Drop Thursdays, one of the iconic moments of it is getting the early mail from Logs, but won't require it this week because we get
No.
Carlton's team on Wednesday. So
I know, and he has
yes,
been absolutely Mickey Mouse bang on. Bang on. This
absolutely
man knows
has.
Carlton. Yep.
But
And
yes, you can
yeah,
follow me on Twitter, JG232_, and then obviously I'll be on Team Drop Thursdays with your good-looking self.
absolutely. We will be live again, 6:20. Oh, yes, we will. 6:20? Yeah, 6:20 Thursday evening. And I'm just hoping that there's no more carnage. Like, I pray that a sneaky peddler is named on field. That'd be wonderful. But yeah, I mean, you can see all the terrible picks that I've chosen. I don't think it's going to be a good week, mate, because you're right. Even with fieldable options in Neil and Zeret out, I think I'm in for a world of pain. But
Well, do a quick count. Show your buys of round 16. I want to see like where you are at because I want to get a gauge of other people's teams here. So fieldable options, you got the start at the top. You got one,
1,
two.
2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go 4.5 because we don't know yet. 1, 2, 3, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5. 12.5. No, that's a half at this stage. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and maybe Peddler.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm looking at 17 primos this week, plus Sam Butler, McCarthy, and Liddy. So I could be okay this week in a week that everyone's struggling. Like the amount of players missing is ridiculous. And to be honest, I'm so excited to get a week off Max Holmes because bloody hell, he's been destroying me every week.
I know. Absolutely agree. And I just hate looking at the app and seeing M Holmes like 40 points higher than every other player. Anyway, mate, we are done. We are finished. We are done. We'll be back here Thursday evening. You can find me on X at Scobie__. Shout out to the third man up, boys. I think the rookie data dump will be released very shortly. Getting a little bit harder with rookies this far along in the year because not many trades are happening. Everyone's relatively full premium, whatever you want to describe that as. And also, make sure you check out their captaincy articles. I'll be so dirty if I don't see Dacos just with the greens across the spreadsheet because that's going to be a VC and you can lock in, I reckon, 148 from Dakes. Thank you again, Joshy, for joining me, mate. And we'll be back here again Thursday evening for Team Drop Thursdays. Enjoy your evening, everyone.